Hi, welcome to the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. My name is Jocelyn, and I enjoy sharing mindset tools, tricks, and tips that I have learned in my motherhood journey, especially with having and birthing 5 children, the pregnancies, and postpartum. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about taking care of baby. I have done a lot of episodes on pregnancy, and I will continue to do those, but as I was thinking, I wasn't quite ready to jump all the way back into pregnancy. I really wanted to talk about taking care of babies for at least another episode, and then I will probably jump back into pregnancy. If you are pregnant, though, I have so many episodes, a lot of resources, a week-by-week guide on my website that is positivityinpregnancy.com. The link to that is in the show notes. So if you are pregnant, go check out that week-by-week guide. You can listen to podcasts that will help you week to week in your pregnancy. So anyways, for those who have their babies here, let's jump into today's episode. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. If you have been following along, you know that last week I mentioned that I was going to jump back into pregnancy stuff for this next episode. And that was my intent. But as I was thinking about and trying to plan this episode, mentally think about it, I just wasn't quite ready to let the baby phase go because that first year can come with a lot of hard times. I don't know if I'm going to, at least at this point, go into the full year postpartum. I'm going to for sure leave those 12 weeks I already did, but I am going to give you some tips to help you through changes that can come as your baby grows, and how to mentally be flexible and okay with how babies are and having babies and being mom. It is truly an adjustment. I have always wanted to be a mom. I grew up in a Christian home and children were a blessing. There were only 4 of us, but I guess in modern times that's a larger family. But at the time I had other friends who had larger families, like 8 kids, and I just always admired that family, and I knew I wanted to have a larger family. Now I don't know if we're going to have 8 kids. We're at 5. Nonetheless, that is what I wanted as a little girl. And then I have my first baby, and it was hard. I had all these preconceived notions about what I would do as a mother and all my opinions on how mothers should kind of go about having babies and raising the babies, when to use pacifiers, when to not. I had a lot of mental thoughts like that about how motherhood should be. I had my own opinions, and then motherhood came, and holy cow, I was in for a surprise. It was so hard. 0 to 1 was definitely my hardest. I really struggled. In fact, my husband tells me now that he was worried about me. I don't think I realized how. I knew it was hard, but I didn't realize how much of a negative slump I got into mentally. And that affected him. It affected our relationship. Not that we had mega problems. It wasn't very joyful. There wasn't a lot of happiness because it was hard. I struggled being at home all the time. I struggled with these high ideals that I had mentally set for myself in my youth that I felt I needed to be independent and implement as a mother. And that created a lot of mental anguish for me in a lot of ways. And I also have been a fairly scheduled person. I thrived on a schedule. I did well on a schedule. And then this sweet little baby comes and they don't really have set schedules. Sometimes the baby will nap. Sometimes the baby won't nap. Sometimes the baby naps when you want them to. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes their naps are shorter. Sometimes they're longer. Sometimes they're happy and content and able to play. And sometimes they're not. And this was tough. Letting go of the schedule and trying to find flexibility was a big learning curve for me. And for those of you who struggle with the scheduling and being flexible, this episode is for you because I have been there too. And I want to give you some tips to help you when your mind is just going crazy because you don't have a normal schedule and you want to, and you're just missing your old routines, things that would happen on time and when they would happen. And we will go through some mental shifts to help you. One of my first mental mindset shifts, I don't know if this was the first, but this has been the most valuable one that I've learned over the years. This probably wasn't the first actually, but I wish I would have learned it sooner. So I'm giving it to you first. And that is to realize that your babies are more important than things. They're more important than time frames. It is such a blessing and such an honor to have babies. It is such an amazing opportunity to be a mother. Now, this did take me a lot of years of thought processes to work through to come to these thoughts that motherhood is amazing, that motherhood is a blessing. Because for a while, motherhood felt annoying. It felt like overly difficult obligation. It felt unfulfilling. It felt overwhelming. It felt stressful. And I felt all those negative things with it. But as I have learned these mental thought processes and implemented them, and as my kids have gotten older, I've realized what a blessing motherhood is and how amazing it is and special it is that we get to bring these sweet little babies into the world. And so realizing that your little babies are more important than your schedules, are more important than things to be done, are more important than items on your to-do list, then you can slow down. It will help you to be more flexible and realize that the list can wait. If you've got too much of a pressing list, maybe you need to think of ways to get rid of the list. Maybe you have something that you can let go of that is not necessary to have in this season, and that you can maybe pick up in another season so that you can be more flexible. Sometimes we do need to let go of things in order to devote time into raising these little ones. But realizing they're important is most important, helps your mind to open up to flexibility. I think one thing that can be so simple, but very easy to implement that we don't think about very often is just recognizing when we are being irreflexible. That's not a word. Non-flexible. It's just to recognize when we are not being flexible and realizing, oh my goodness, I am living by these mental ideals that are not realistic for this season. And realizing not realistic ideals for your season is just a key to helping you figure out how to move on and to solve these problems. So recognizing when you're getting not flexible is important. So say the baby woke up from nap earlier than you thought they would, and you feel like this is just going to not give you enough time to work on the things you needed to. Instead of being annoyed, impatient, and frustrated, you can realize that you will still be able to get to those things and also focus on the love that you have for that little human. They are amazing. And I hope that as you go throughout this episode, you will realize what a blessing motherhood is. But realizing that you want to be flexible will allow you in this moment to be flexible. Something that I have done that has helped is to pray for moments to get to those things I needed to be done. So say the baby woke up earlier than you had hoped and you still had something you were trying to get done. Pray for an opportunity to open up for you to be able to do that thing. For me, it has been like I've really wanted to get a podcast done in time, and God will sometimes open a window to where my baby plays contentedly so that I can do a podcast. You might hear some of their little happy noises in the background, but they're not screaming and crying the whole time. God can open windows for us when we are struggling. And sometimes if we are too tight, we may even have to ask for help, because that is something that took me years to realize, is that it is okay to ask for help. And in fact, it is good and makes me happy and can make people who want to help happy as well. Like maybe you have friends or family around you that would like to help with a baby, or a babysitter that you could hire that is grateful for the money. Nonetheless, there are things to do to help you solve these problems. I don't want you to stay stuck in this, Mama. I want you to be able to solve these problems and become more flexible. The next thing I want to remind you that is also super simple. Actually, most of the things I talk about on my podcast are pretty simple. They just take remembering to do. But the next one is just to breathe. There are times when you just feel so stressed, so overwhelmed, so at your wit's end that you can't even hardly think straight to even get anything done. And that is when you just need to slow down, take a second, and do some breathing, some intentional deep breathing. Maybe we'll do a few deep breaths right now to help you slow down, to breathe, and to hopefully begin to reset a little bit. So deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Mama, you got this. The amazing thing about the world we live in is there are so many amazing conveniences to help us. And you know what is even better than modern conveniences? So when I say modern conveniences, I'm meaning like baby swings, baby toys. We have shelters, we have food, we're blessed. But the other thing that can help you is praying to God, asking for his help, and then looking for answers to those prayers. God doesn't come down and answer our prayers, but he might give us pockets of time. He might give us neighbors that offer to help out. He might give us bedtimes when the baby goes to sleep. Look for the ways and the miracles that God is looking to bless you in your motherhood, and you will find them. You are amazing. This is a special and beautiful season of your life. I don't think I looked at that excuse me, fumbling over my words. I don't think I looked at life that way with my first baby. I struggled. But as my first baby is now on the verge of becoming a teenager, I realize more and more what a beautiful blessing it is to be a mother. Don't forget that. Implement some of these tools into your life for more positivity. Check out my website. It's got lots of good and encouraging things. My podcast is there. The week-by-week pregnancy is there. And videos for those that are pregnant. Tell your pregnant friend about that, because they are mental encouragement to help you through your pregnancies. I am cheering for you, and God is cheering for you. We will chat again next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.